Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Hannover, and this is the best game I've ever had in this ship. We are going to do a ton of damage, and it's going to be rather enjoyable. This ship, of course, is the super battleship of the German Patrie, and it fixes some of the issues that I have with this entire line. Not all of them, but some of them. One of the main ones is the turret angles. This ship has very, very good turret angles. Better than 30 degrees, and you can fire all of your guns. It's very, very nice. Unfortunately, it is rather large, and that superstructure is big as well. So we're going to take a lot of damage through our superstructure, even if we do manage to stay angled. But the strategy here is going to be to play with our teammates and not overcommit early. It's going to be a great way to lose your ship. Even with this much HP, you can die very, very quickly. On this flank, we have a Tulsa and a Smolensk for the HE spam. The Smolensk is the major threat. The Tulsa, not quite as much, but still, it does add up. There's also going to be a submarine on this flank, since our sub spawned on this flank, and, well, there's two of them on each team. One on each flank makes sense, so we're not going to over push into that. That's another great way to lose your ship early. Hannover is not a sniping battleship. That much is obvious. However, having these 480mm guns, 481, something like that, means you overmatch a lot of ships in this game. So even though your accuracy is not all that great, when you're landing shells, they're typically doing some pretty good damage. Our alpha damage is rather high as well, and so we get 24k there into the enemy Hannover, and that's only hitting 5 shells. I mean, 5 shell hits is pretty good for this ship, let's be honest. But still, it feels pretty decent. The reload here also allows this ship to do reasonably well at these mid to long ranges. Even though I would like to be closer to people, at least having a good reload and a ton of overmatch with good turret angles allows us to play relatively stay safe and still get some pretty decent damage. And if we get lucky, we might even Citadel a Smolensk of all things. I was pretty fortunate to get that salvo, not gonna lie. But now that our team has kind of just followed me out here, we don't really have much of a crossfire. It's time to turn around and think about pushing back in, not into the sub necessarily, but pushing towards the B cap. We know the sub is on the flank. I don't really want to push into this open water here. You can think of it almost as pushing the enemy in their spawn at this point, just because pushing in the open here is just kind of suicidal. I'd rather get back towards the B cap where islands are, especially now that they've committed so many of their ships out to the flank. That's what I'm going to go for, while also still trying to do some damage on our way back and looking for this submarine. Tulsa here, bow in. We overmatch him everywhere, so if we land our shells, we're going to get some damage, and we get lucky with another Citadel. If you throw enough shells at him, you're going to get some good damage, it seems. So nearly 100k already, and we've been doing the suboptimal sniping strategy with a Hannover so far. But our team has lost a submarine, but more importantly, we are losing the north. And that's going to be a rather large issue. Not only have we lost a sub there, but that means that the enemy sub is going to be on our flank and in our backline, as well as a Jaeger, which may as well be a submarine as well, since there's not really any way for us to spot him or deal with him. Going to be a bit of an issue. So, moving forward here a little bit, getting towards the B cap here, and broadside Napoli might be presenting himself for us. And he goes dark, so not the easiest shot, a bit of a snapshot, but we'll see if we can't get a little bit of damage into him here. And it's all right. No Citadel, unfortunately, but we do get ourselves our Confederate already, and that means we've been firing at a lot of different targets and doing some decent damage. Schroeder pushing in here, trying to finish him off, though, would be really, really good, as the enemy team has decided to push more towards our spawn, right, instead of going back towards the B cap. That means they're at a pretty massive disadvantage here. And that allows us to hopefully even the odds of this fight. It's one of the main reasons that I'm always looking for opportunities to not push into the enemy spawn, but always trying to go back towards the objectives. It's just so much easier to play that way rather than pushing the enemy spawn. It's tough. It's really, really tough when you get into those situations. Now we have to deal with this Yamato, who also is looking to push our spawn. And the D cap starts getting flipped. That is a massive issue. We are very much on our own here. We're a very big ship, juicy target for torpedoes. So this is a bit of an issue here. especially since this Yamato has a lot of HP left. We need to kill him quickly, so we're going to get a nice salvo into his broadside, as well as pop our combat instructions. Not the best looking dispersion salvo, however, 3 citadels. And there's our high caliber already. That feels pretty lucky, but also feels pretty good. If you haven't seen these combat instructions, essentially what they do is for a short time, they give you more range on your secondaries, as well as giving you a better reload on your secondaries. So it's going to help us kill things just a little bit quicker, out to a little further range. And hopefully this Yamato is going to go down. So it seems like it's the Jaeger in the cap here, it's not the submarine. So we take a torpedo. It's not much damage, but it does flood us. The Marseille helps us finish off the Yamato there. Take one last hit from the Yami. We're getting pretty low here at this point, but I think I have enough time to turn around. I might not. Jaeger torp reload is pretty nuts, but I don't want to just be pushing into this Jaeger. I know if I do that, I'm just going to die. And this is kind of a suicidal turn, but if we manage to live it, which, well, you can probably tell that we do based on the video length, we're going to be in a much, much safer position. He torps, I guess, around the island. The island may be cutting off his torp angles there. I'm not sure. We even go dark here for a little bit, which is really, really nice. He gets out of the cap, and the other torpedoes are going to miss us. Fortunately, we turned the correct way. Got lucky there that the Jaeger didn't line up some better torps on us. We, in fact, did not have time to turn around. But we got lucky, so I will take it. 272,000 damage now. Still no kill. And still not a lot of HP left, but our team is sort of melting at this point, so it's time for us to push in anyway. We're also not really going to do all that well when it comes to caps and map control, because the enemy team has their sub and their Jaeger left, and DDs are just so powerful in the late game like this. We just really want to have those guys taken care of, and we don't really have any way of doing it. Trying to deal with this Freddy here, broadside, but also limiting the number of people that can fire at us. That's why I'm kind of cutting towards this island here, not only to get out of the way of the Jaeger torps, but also to limit the Illinois or the Napoli from potentially being able to shoot at us. The fire that our secondaries lit does finish off the Freddy, giving us our first kill here. And we're getting low, man, but as a team here, we're pushing in a little bit, and hopefully this will be enough to turn this game back in our favor. It still looks fine from a points and ships perspective, but I'll warn you that we're going to lose some ships here. Smolensk possibly going to get spotted here by our submarine, actually. So with him forced to turn in there, as well as taking engine damage, he's kind of stuck in a very predictable pattern, and that way I would like to finish him off, especially now that he's on our flank. Possibly we get a citadel and do manage to kill him. Not every day that the 2 times or 3 times you shoot at a Smolensk, you're going to get good damage, but I'll take it. I'm going to take everything I possibly can here. So our submarine's still alive and is our only way to contest ground without being detected all that easily. And we're going to need him to cap things, go after the enemy DD, spot things, all that stuff. No longer have that radar, the Stalin, unfortunately. Get a nice little hit there into the Napoli, but not too much damage. We're going to push towards the B cap here, trying to cap it, but also to finish off these guys. I don't want to let the Napoli get away or this Illinois. Well, being concerned about Jaeger torps. Not sure if he came back to sea to torp us or not. Napoli, spotted by our plane, is broadside, and Hannover, at close range, does the job, finishes him off. That feels very, very nice. 326,000 damage now. And you'll notice that our Marseille hasn't moved a whole lot, has he, since grounding there? Rather curious, isn't it? Our submarine appears to be going for the A-cap, which is slow, but can be useful. Now, this Illinois needs to be taken out quickly. He's got a lot of DPM. And then, of course, we get the shells go low bug. So I pop my combat instructions here because I just need the DPM to kill him. I need to kill him quickly. I was hoping that our guns would do it and I could save our combat instructions for when a destroyer or a submarine got spotted on the surface, but I need this guy dead quickly. I need a lot of my HP. I'm using my last heal at this point, so we do finish him off. That overmatch is very, very nice to have. But this is all the health we have left. 40k to deal with a submarine and a DD. And spoiler alerts, it doesn't go well. We don't have any way of spotting them reliably. And they're just going to tear us up. We're down on caps. We're down on points. Our Marseille has AFK'd, I guess. Really unfortunate there. And our submarine is in the cap, but he's underwater. So he's just deciding not to cap it. Maybe he doesn't know. It is tier 10, and that is a premium as well. So you'd think he'd know. But I guess not. So I'll just ask him nicely to surface to cap. And if he does, great. If he doesn't, well, I'm not going to worry about it too much. We do get a nice little hit on the submarine there. So with the flood there, forced him to pop his damage control. I'm hoping to get another hit, because if we can hit him twice, that means, or any time now after his damage control is used, that flood and hopefully oil spill will give away his location. We get the sea cap. Our Iowa is running for his life, because that's all you can possibly do against submarines. Our sub has left the cap now, still underwater. And jumping forward a bit, we get very lucky that our plane spots the enemy sub. So that's going to give us an opportunity here to get some damage in. Only 1 minute left on the clock here, so I think you can tell how this is going to go. We are not going to win this game. And Jaeger is in front of us, so not a lot left to do here. Just try and get into the cap. I didn't want to go flat broadside and get into the cap as fast as I could, because I figured that I would just eat all the torps that way. You can see how we're still on very, very low HP. I'm going to try some blind shots, and now that he's used all his torpedoes, I am going to turn away from him just to try and stay alive a little more and get ourselves into this cap circle. But 25 seconds left. I don't think we're going to get there. So disappointing to lose this one, certainly, but as we know, the best damage games always come in losses, because that's when your teammates aren't doing a whole lot, and that gives you the opportunity to rack up a lot of damage, especially when the game goes 20 minutes like this one did. 362 is what we're going to end on. Unfortunately, not able to finish this sub or this DD. Good job to them for playing it correctly and winning their team this game. I'm a little sad that we lost it, though. I think with a little better teammates, a little more help, this one easily could have been a victory. But still, I'll take it. That is the most damage I've ever done in the Hannover, and I had a lot of fun playing this one. Nearly a Kraken as well. Feels pretty good. I think we're going to see a bit of an issue here when we get to the team score. Yeah, top XP by 600 XP for both teams. Kind of ridiculous. Kind of ridiculous. As for the build here on the Hannover, I have gone with a bit of a hybrid build, although I did focus a little bit more on secondaries than I usually do. The commander looks a little something like this. Pretty much what I've been running for a little while here now on my secondary battleships, getting myself up to 5 heals, since that can be useful, and in this game it certainly was. Concealment, just allowing us to play a little closer without getting detected all the time and farmed down, although with this ship it's still 15 kilometers. Kind of ridiculous. Notice no fire prevention. Very, very, very risky way to play this ship, especially at Hannover. But you could tell that where I was playing the ship, maybe a little too passively for some, especially early game, allowed me to not take fire prevention and get that extra heal, concealment. We did a little bit better early game, I think, because of that, since we could play a little closer, and in the late game allowing us to have a little more healing, assuming we're not taking those double or triple fires after we damage control a fire. The upgrades here is standard outside of maybe secondary battery mod. If we're playing that mid-range role, aiming systems is probably just better overall, especially because this combat instructions allow us to get out that extra range anyway. But if I'm playing a Hannover, I'm probably playing it to try and get secondaries going at any time, so that's kind of my decision. If I want to play something a little more accurate, I'm going to play a different battleship. I'm not going to play German battleships. Although still taking main battery mod 3, since I think the reload on the guns is more impactful than the reload on the secondaries. At least that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. Not necessarily the most optimal build, but it sure can be a fun one. That's about it for the Hannover. It's a pretty strong super ship, certainly, if you get it into the right situations, but it certainly gets farmed down rather easily. Turret traverse is... Sorry, the turret angles, I should say, are very nice. Makes me little wishful that they would buff the other German battleships, especially things like GK, but even Preussen doesn't have these turret angles, and they are very useful in keeping the ship alive longer at closer ranges. But I hope you guys enjoyed my best game I've ever had in Hannover. I certainly had a good time playing it and just had to share it with you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.